What up, Eagle family? Thanks for tapping back in. Today is the second video for the QC&As. I want to give a shout out to all my APAs out there. Keep kicking ass and taking names. Hope everybody being safe. Hope everybody had a good week and good weekend. Keep watching your surroundings. Stay alert because the heat is rising. You feel me? And you got to keep your eye on everything moving. So let's go ahead, let's dive into the comments section and get it started. First one we're gonna start with is at Seattle. No, first we're gonna start with at Tamika Green 7912. She says, if she would have been a white lady, they would have dived to help, but not the black queen. Shaking my head just makes you wonder who raised these people. Now, I would highly, I agree to a certain extent. But in most cases, she's right. But nowadays, just people don't have integrity and morals, like when I grew up. If you seen any woman, I don't care what ethnicity she is, and she needed help, there was gonna be people that was gonna back her up. If, for example, a lady was out in the middle of the street and some guy came and took her purse and ran off with it, niggas was gonna be on that boy's head. You know what I mean? And so you got this lady struggling with this man, and you got people, what's the first thing they do? They take out their phone and start recording it instead of going over there to help her. Now, me personally, if I would have seen this shit, I would have went over there and he would have caught a hit stick. I promise you. He would have had a concussion messing with me. You feel me? Ain't no way this woman should be, fighting this man over a cart of soda. You feel me? I would have went over there and got him off top. I don't care what color they is. In this line of work, people like to play the race card. Even your own people will come after you. I done had people, that I done stopped and apprehended, and they try to play that race card on me. My own people. Oh, you Uncle Tom, you supposed to be on our side. And they try to throw God in it. And I'm like, man, don't even go there. Because what do God say about stealing? It's a sin. So you can go ahead and stop that shit right now. You feel me? But at the end of the day, I don't care what color you are. You could be blue, green, purple, red, lime green. I don't give a damn what color you is. If you stealing, that ass is mine, period. So that's what it is. Now, somebody replied to her comment at Seattle 2644. You people always say things like that. Maybe people just don't want to get hurt over some damn pop, LOL. It's funny how you make it about race, but you don't say anything about the black dude stealing in the first place. Look, once again, he could be black, pink, purple, red, green, teal, gray. I don't give a damn. When it comes to us people, look, I done call every damn near ethnicity there is that's been caught stealing, okay? From my people, your people, they people, you know what I'm saying? I done called them all. So there is no race that is exempt, that don't steal in my experience. Every race I have caught stealing in my store, whether it's at Walmart, Target, Safeway, you know what I'm saying? Everybody steal. Everybody has a bad apple in the bunch. You know what I'm saying? There is no ethnicity out there that is perfect. Perfect. You know what I mean? And that's just what it is. Right is right, wrong is wrong. That's where I'm at with it. You know what I'm saying? If you stealing, your ass is mine, period. I don't care if you man, female, or your race. That's just what it is. So we're going to move along. Bro thirsty is, so at Young Cobb 3408 says, bro's thirsty as fuck. If you're gonna steal, at least try to grab some ribeye, steak, or something. Shit, effing my ass off. Now, with that being said, we rolling into the summertime. So if you a store that got a grocery department, what you want to do is keep an eye on your meat and your seafood, because this is the time that people like to go and have barbecues, get-togethers. You know, people always cooking when it's nice outside. So you want to keep an eye on your meat department and your seafood department, I promise you, and all your cookware, because I promise you, a lot of the push outs that you're going to have is going to come from those departments. Understand the game. I had once called somebody who pushed out with $600 worth of meat. You feel me? $600 worth of meat. We talking about steak, ground beef, shrimp. You know what I'm saying? So all my APAs out there that got a grocery department, keep an eye out on your meat department, your seafood department, because this is the time where they're going to try to hit those departments the most. I promise you. So I can't stress that enough. If you already short on meat and seafood, that's probably why they didn't already started pushing out, or they might have went to the self-checkout and underringed a lot of those items. You feel me? And the boosters, they gonna be coming for that stuff. The streets is putting in their orders right now as we speak for meat and seafood, houseware products, you know, to cook this stuff with. So it's time to get dirty with it. It's time to get raw with it. You gotta be 10 toes on the ground, creating your presence. If you got door greeters, make sure your door greeters are aware of their blind spots as well. One thing I don't like is my greeters having their back turned toward the exit, because that's what they're looking for, especially if your grocery department is right there by the exit. You got somebody who will distract the greeter while the subject pushes out once they have their back turned. Fuck all that. Make sure your greeters or whoever's standing at the door got their eyes open and their head is on the swivel at all times, period. So we moving on to the next one. At Nas, oh look, Nas Eve1, I hope I'm pronouncing that right. He said, dude, you have to work for what you want in life. There's no shortcuts. That is so true. Just like I stressed in the last video, there is too much money out here for people to want to just be stealing every day. Like, period. There's so many gigs that you can be out here tapping into. There's so much work out here that people could do, but people are lazy. People are lazy. They want shortcuts, you know what I'm saying? And let me tell you one thing about these shoplifters. When they get away with it, it gives them more confidence to do it again. And then once they get bored with that, they keep going. They keep going. They keep seeing what they can get away with. You know what I'm saying? They might start off with something small, and then once they get away with that, guess what? They're going to start pushing out carts. Once they start getting away with pushing out carts, now they on to bigger and better things. You know what I mean? It might be trying to steal a car or something like that. So when it comes down to these shoplifters, man, like, we got to set the tone. We got to set the tone. I know these policies and these laws is slapping them on the wrist, but at the end of the day, we got to set the tone for the store. We got to make sure that they know that when they come to the location that you're working at, that it ain't going to be as easy as it's been for, you know, them at these other stores that they've been in. But it just makes no sense how a lot of people is just comfortable with going into the store and pushing out, taking what they want, and not being held accountable. That's not what we're doing. The summer of 2025 is when we put a dent in all that shit. You feel me? If they want to fight, hey, you hit them with that felony. You feel me? Now, if they somebody that keep getting away with, pushing out or concealment, whatever the case may be, make sure that you starting that paper trail on them, because when you finally catch their ass, you can tally all those dollar amounts up and you charge them for every single time that they came into the store. Now, if you want the case to stick in court, you must have documentation. In the courtroom, it's not what you say, it's what you can prove. You feel me? And the more that you can prove, the better your case is going to stick. Period. All right. Moving on. Yeah, because a lot of APAs, man, sometimes will go to the courtroom unprepared, and it not only makes you look bad, but it makes the company look bad as well. But at the end of the day, damn the company, you want to make a name for yourself. So every time they pull up your name, they know, okay, this dude, this female always got their shit together. You know what I'm saying? Report, they got video, you know what I mean? You want to make a name for yourself. You just using the company to do it. You feel what I'm saying? I promise you, because when they bring up my name, they like, oh, this is who? Eagle Eye Miller? Oh yeah, we know this is a go. We know this is a good one. We know this is a good dollar amount. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm not calling the police for anything under $100. Even if the policy say the prosecution amount is $25, $50. You know what I'm saying? I done had Target get mad at me because I didn't prosecute a lot of people that was at that $50 mark. Like, look, man, ain't nobody got time to be prosecuting any and everybody for 50 punk ass dollars. Walmart get mad at me because I didn't prosecute somebody that, hit that $25 amount. Like, ain't nobody calling the police over $25. Homie, like, that's how I feel about it. That's how I feel about it. Let's see. At Brian J. Hoove. Problem is the police / justice system being for profit. If they were not, then people would not be afraid to defend themselves, and subsequently, these guys wouldn't be robbing a store. Let me tell y'all something about that. I know a lot of states have Good Samaritan laws, okay? And let me pull some of these up real quick, man, because it just it amazes me how people will try to find every excuse in the book not to do the right thing. But when I read into these Good Samaritan laws, we have the power to stop a lot of this shit. People just make excuses not to do it. So, Good Samaritan laws. Good Samaritan laws generally protect individuals from civil or criminal liability when they act in good faith to assist someone in distress, but they don't provide immunity for illegal actions like theft. A person can still be charged with theft if they take property without lawful authority, even if they are also providing assistance in emergency. Now, elaboration. Good Samaritan laws. These laws encourage individuals to help others in need by shielding them from liability for actions taken in good faith to provide assistance, particularly in emergencies. They typically protect against civil lawsuits, but not necessarily against criminal charges. Theft definition. Good Samaritan laws and theft. Examples. Like, all you got to do is just read up on this stuff. Now, this is how I feel about it. If I see somebody taken from a store, they are grown. These are grown ass adults, okay? they know right from wrong. They know stealing is bad. They know the consequences they can suffer from doing, bad shit. So they taking a risk, just like I'm going to take the risk to try to stop them. I know what risk I'm taking. So if I go into a store or I see a lady, for example, in the video with the man who was trying to get away with the cart of soda, I see this woman struggling with this man. I'm going to go over there and I'm going to hit his ass with a hit stick. And whatever happens, happens. If he try to fight with me, if we get into a bang session, we get into a bang session. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, right is right, wrong is wrong. That's the way I see it. That's the way I see it. You know what I mean? If we get into a bang session, it is what it is at the end of the day. I'm helping this woman recover merchandise. I'm helping her do her job. Look, there's been times where I've had people help me during an apprehension. I told the story about the two rednecks who hopped out of the money center line to help me with an apprehension because they knew that I couldn't go into the parking lot to make that apprehension. They end up following this nigga until he got off the bus and the police brought his ass back. Good Samaritans. This is what people did for me when I was in the game. You know what I mean? So why wouldn't I do the same thing? Why? Because it ain't my business. Why? Because I'm afraid of, getting hurt. I'm afraid for my safety. Fuck all that. I come from a different era. I'm cut from a different cloth. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to turn a blind eye if I see a woman in need or a person in need of my assistance. That's just not what I'm going to do. That's just not what I'm going to do. If I see somebody that needs my help and I know I can help them, that's exactly what I am going to do. I don't care what no law or policy says about it. Period. So it don't matter. People will make every excuse not to do the right thing. And if you just say you scared. If you scared, say you scared. That's better than trying to give an excuse not to do the right thing. Real shit, bro. Like, it just don't make no sense. Next one. My boy at Bossman2068. He said, how would you deal with this one? And for those that don't know what he's talking about, there's a short that I put out that I titled Determined. And pretty much there was this nigga who backed his whole car up to the entrance/exit and had a cart full of Tide and trash bags. And you got all these employees standing around because, of course, they can't do shit about it. So this is how I would have handled that whole situation. I would have took that whole fucking cart away from him first and foremost. I don't know why they just sitting there watching him go back and forth. I would have took that whole cart, took it back to the front or took it all the way to the back room. I would have then got pictures of the whole car. The license plate, the model, the make. I would have got a picture of him. And if he seemed like the type that is aggressive. So I would have waited for him. I would have stood exactly where I was at. I would have waited for him to approach me. And once he got close enough, self-defense mode, I would have hit him with a couple two pieces on his way out the door. And I would have let it been that. Period. But to sit there and let me check this out real quick. But to sit there and watch this man go back and forth is just hilarious to me, man. Yeah, this nigga got the whole car backed up, the trunk wide open. He got a cart full of hefty trash bags and Tide. So they touch the cart and this nigga starts taking all the laundry detergent out and sliding it to the driver. Yeah, I'd have took that whole cart away from him. And I would have slid that cart back into the store. Yeah, ain't no fucking way. Ain't no fucking way, man. These niggas out they crazy ass mind, boy. Out they rabbit ass mind. Ain't no way. Yeah, ain't no way. But that's how I would have handled the situation. Period. That's how I would have handled it. He wouldn't have got away with nothing. I promise you. At the end of the day, y'all know me. Y'all know me. I'm sitting here and I'm trying to be nice about it. He wouldn't have got away with none of that shit. Cause I would have went to the back of that trunk. I would have grabbed all that shit back out. You feel me? Like, ain't no telling what would have happened in that apprehension. I can promise you this though, it would have got raw. Cause I would have met him at his energy level real quick. You aggressive? Guess what? I'm aggressive too, nigga. So whatever happened, happened. Look, every day I went in for my shift, I put my job on the line. I always told myself today gonna be my last day. Cause I know somebody gonna want the smoke. I'ma want the smoke, you know, and if this is gonna be my last day, guess what? I'm gonna make it worth every little bit of it. I'm gonna make it worth it because these niggas throwed off. Guess what? I'm throwed off too. Real shit. I'm throwed off, nigga. So that's just what it is, man. These motherfuckers done got bold out here. The fact that he would back his whole car up to the entrance is just a whole different type of ball game. I'm used to people lining up along the fire lane and then they push out. But to back it in, nigga, like this is your personal garage, nigga, you got life like fucked up around here. I promise you, because soon as I would have seen that motherfucker backing up, I would have went and took that whole cart. And once he went to touch it, it would have been a bang session. I promise you. It would have been a bang session. And I would have hit that nigga with the felony on my last day. On my last day. And I wouldn't have given a damn about what the company said about it. Oh, you violated policy. You did this. You should have did that. I don't give a damn. We didn't lose no merchandise though. See, the company, they be afraid of the liability that comes with, you know, me breaking the policy. But let me tell y'all one thing that I do know for sure is that the last thing this type of nigga is gonna do is call home office and tell them that he has just committed a crime. That's the last thing he gonna do. He is not gonna call home office and say, hey, I backed my car up to the entrance / exit, and then I tried to push out a cart full of Tide and hefty trash bags, and while doing so, your AP hit me. That is not gonna happen. You know why? Because that's like him snitching on himself, because they gonna want his name, his date of birth, and all that good shit. And if he gives them that, he gonna be caught. His ass is act. Plain and simple. That's what I do know. That's why I do what I do, because I know that. Now, policy and the company, like I said, they afraid of the liability that will come with me apprehending this nigga the way that I would. But that's the last thing he gonna do is call home office. Now, they might say, oh, the manager might call and say that I, you know, violated AP09. Customers might call and say that I violated AP09. But at the end of the day, in the history, in my experience, it has never been done. The managers always had my back, and the community has always had my back when I have crossed the line every single fucking time. Every single time. The last thing these people are going to do is tell on themselves. Even if they get hit with a couple two pieces on their way out the door. That is the last thing that they gonna do is call home office and tell them they tried to push out with a full cart of merchandise and they got hit with a couple two pieces on the way out the door. It's not gonna happen. It ain't gonna happen. Simple as that. So, with that being said, y'all know what it is. Stand your ground. Watch your surroundings. Be alert at all times. I want to thank y'all for tapping in. Anybody got anything they want to add, y'all know what to do. Hit that comment box. It's your boy, Eagle Eye Miller. Till next time, raw and unscripted.